This place is not called Earth. That is a lie. The real name of this plane of existence is called samsara, which is a Sanskrit word, and it translates as the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth that bind spiritual sentience to materiality. The word reincarnation means to go back into the flesh again. Do it again, carn, flesh. So, finite corporeality is the nature of this existence. Matter, energy, space, and time, with its birth, growth, preservation, decay, and death, just to start the vicious cycle all over again, is samsara. That's where we are. This is a product of samsara. This chair, everything. However, samsara is merely the name of the prison that we're in, and it describes its characteristics by its definition as basically creating the fetus so it can infuse consciousness within it. Then eventually the fetus is going to be an old man and die, and then we can put the spirit back in another fetus. But guess what? The two characteristics of how this realm operates is Maya and Mara. We can venture to say that samsara is a Maya-Mara matrix. What is Maya? It is a Sanskrit word that means delusion. What is Mara? It is a Sanskrit word that originally meant death, but it was adapted to fit mythology as the demon of desire, who works for the god of death. Maya and Mara are Siamese twins. One cannot exist without the other. Tweedledee and Tweedledum, if you will. But remember this. Maya is former, and Mara is latter. That's because Maya is the cause, and Mara is the effect thereof. So pay attention, and I'll tell you how it works. Maya is any stimulus that makes you want to become stimulated by it through participation. So imagine Maya as a hypnotist watch, and you become enthralled to the point of being comatose. You are now in a trance, in a sleepwalking-like state. And you look over on the far right side when it swings that way, and you see the woman in the red dress. And you think to yourself, love and lust. I am engaged with a stimulus in my immediate environment, and I want to become stimulated by it. Desire. And then you catch it in the center, and you see a triple cheeseburger with fries and a drink. And you say, wow, this stimulus, I want to become stimulated by participating with it. Desire. Maya allures you through enticing the five senses. Her job is to make you forget that you are in samsara by giving you just a little bit of pleasure to find agreeableness with existence. But it's a pay to play. That's how Maya, the delusion after all, keeps you hooked on the delusion. You awake depleted, and you replenish to the point of satiation And then you experience suffering as you go down and become depleted. And then you wake up the next day and you replenish to satiation, and then experience suffering, and then go back to depletion. Here's an analogy. Maya is like a Ferris wheel in hell. The ride stops periodically to refill your soda pop and your cotton candy. And once it starts spinning again, everybody's real happy. They're eating their cotton candy, they're drinking their soda pop, and they have a smile on their face, and they're nodding their head up and down. Maya is designed to make you forget that you are in hell. Maya is designed to keep you distracted from the fact that you are in samsara. It's a diversion of your attention. It's like, oh my God, look at all the pain and suffering over there. Shh, shh, shh. It's okay, it's okay. She unzips your zipper. She gets on her knees. Just let me suck your dick. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Look at me, sweetie. Look at me. Oh, don't stop. Oh, this isn't such a bad place to be. Oh my God. Is that somebody experiencing hardship over there? Am I experiencing hardship right now? Then she puts a beer in your face and a cheeseburger in your face and says, shh, 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 just eat up. Swallow it down. Good. Take your pill. Good. You say it's not so fucking bad here. Exactly. The illusionary beauty of Maya comes from that who is a deceitful whore. If you could be in a perpetual state of sobriety, chastity, and fasted, she would have no influence over you because you would be outside of her jurisdiction. The only thing she can do thereforward is the same thing she does to an outdoorsman who is confronted with the beauty of a wild rose bush. And he therefore concludes that because we live in a world that has beauty, the world itself must be beautiful. And therefore, if the world is beautiful because it has beauty, that makes it a benevolent place to be. Substantialities of sanctified salience could be Maya by definition. What it does is you as the subject look upon an object and you say, that's not samsara. That is blank. You look over here, that's not samsara. That is blank. It could be agreeable. It could even be disagreeable. But what's the fucking point of agreeing or disagreeing with any said thing when you are just having a debate while you are in fucking samsara, right? You could say, affirmation, affirmation, affirmation. No! Negation, negation, negation. Oh yeah? Well, why are you anti this when I am pro this? Keep in mind, whatever it is that you are pro or anti, it doesn't fucking matter because it all exists within the realm of samsara. You must realize where the fuck you are. You are in enemy territory. Everything is designed to keep you in a fucking trance. Prohibitions and asceticism is not what I'm trying to promote. I am, however, encouraging self-remembrance. Here's what I do. Every day, I reiterate to myself that I am in samsara and the pleasantries and niceties are only ostensible because, after all, it is Maya. That is it. So, the product of your addiction, when you are engaging in it, or just a vice, guilty pleasure, or just the everyday normalcy of enjoying food and enjoying sex, etc., just remind yourself, as you're engaging in the activity that you consider to be, quote, enjoyable, this is Maya. This is Maya. This is Maya. I am in samsara. Believe it or not, this helps you become grounded, and it's one of the most empowering things that I do on a daily basis. Maya is the inviting visual that impregnates you with desire. So, where does Mara come in relationship with Maya? Well, Mara is merely an extension of Maya. So, here's how it works. Maya is the internal longing to obtain. It is the immediate stimulus where which you become enticed and you say to yourself, I want to become stimulated with that stimulus. And now I'm desiring, therefore, I want to go interact with it. But just because you feel the desire doesn't mean you have to act upon it. But if you act upon it, that's Mara. Mara is you taking the cheeseburger from McDonald's and shoving it down your gullet. Mara is you having sex with that prostitute. Mara is you smoking that cigarette, drinking that beer, snorting that coke, etc. While Maya is merely the wish to do so. So, the initiator of provocation is the desire itself. You see the object right in front of your face, or you daydream of it in your head, and your instincts start craving. And you get the drive to go get what you want. You could say it's the emotionality to go get what you want. Maya. But let me use myself as an example. I am somewhat of a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for 2 months, and I still crave alcohol constantly. Same with cigarette. I gave those up too. But I crave them constantly. And I also gave up junk food. For the past couple months, I've been eating only 1 meal a day. And right now, craving junk food, craving nicotine, craving alcohol. But just because I'm craving and desiring Mara, it does not mean that I have to fulfill it. And what will eventually happen is, if I continue to ignore Maya, what's going to happen is eventually Maya is going to become disillusioned. Because right now, Maya is like a tiger that I am no longer feeding with my energy. And what happens if you don't feed the tiger? Well, it's going to starve to death. And Maya is becoming desperate. But she is in the process of being disillusioned. Maya is sensory data, while Mara is sensory contact. Maya is the wish, and Mara is the actualization or fulfillment of that wish. So, people often frown upon words like self-denial, renunciation, but I'm not a moral prescriptionist, but I'm beginning to embrace these terms because I realize that the equation is desire and obtainment. But if I don't obtain what the desire is telling me to do, eventually the desire is going to starve. It's getting better already. My cravings are not as bad as they were a month ago. And I know that if I continue, eventually they're going to be gone for good. Because here's the thing. This realm is a hell. It is samsara after all. And I feel like when we engage in hedonism, we're letting our guard down. We are essentially being a rodent that's trying to take the cheese off of the trap while knowing that the cheese is a part of the trap and not setting it off. I've reached, you could say, a state of maturity where I am not allowing myself to have too much fun. Maya says, I want a dick in my butt, so let's go get a dick in our butt. Mara is the dick in the butt. Because you wanted a dick in the butt because of Maya, so you got your wish with Mara. Now you have a dick in your butt. Do you like how that works? Now, Mara is the force that keeps spirit enslaved to the physical realm. Whenever you have experienced the most euphoric ecstasies that were inauthentic because they were artificial, and you enjoyed it while it lasted, but then eventually you crashed just to repeat the cycle again the next day. That is Mara. You could say our instinctual drives is Mara entirely. And the reason why the ancients said that it's the demon of desire working for the god of death is because Mara makes you a degenerate. And when the flesh takes precedence over the spirit, it's a form of death. And what is a demon? Apparently, it's something that possesses, right? So look at it this way. Have you ever noticed that you try to fight against your instincts towards inferiority, but then sometimes you crack? And it doesn't make any sense because the activity of going for that beverage is just stupid because you know it's going to make you suffer. You know it's going to make your family suffer. You know it's not good for mind, body, or spirit, but yet you do it anyway. And as you're engaging in it, you're being resentful and you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You know, you're a fat fuck like me. You have a double chin and you're like, no, I don't want to fucking, Buffalo Wild Wings. But then next thing you know, you're like, why am I doing this? I'm so fat. This is Mara. Mara is extremely powerful, and it quite literally is the demonic oversoul of man that possesses the body to do things against the will of the spirit. It's almost like you're being hacked. Imagine the body is a sort of first-person RPG video game, and the spirit should have full autonomy over the body, right? So let's say my spirit is like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to stand up because I have full autonomy over the body. All right. I'm going to sit back down as a spirit because I have full autonomy over the body. But then all of a sudden, you become hacked, and there's a new personality that belongs to the computer simulation itself that temporarily, or perhaps for some people even permanently, they can remain in that state forever if they're not careful, where they're like, me want stimuli. There is no spirit. There is only Mara. I did not eat that taco, by the way, nor did I purchase it. It was already in the house, and I just used it to then spit it out for comedic purposes, but that's not an exaggeration. It is like being infected with a zombie virus. And then the symptomology of that zombie virus is going to induce a fever of mind where you get a wild hair up your ass. You get a Irish toothache, which is an insatiable boner that cannot be satisfied. And then your eyes roll in the back of your head. You get in your car and you go through that drive-thru. You go into that gas station and you purchase the very things that make you suffer the most, and you don't know why. I know why. It's because Mara is the zombie virus, and it's a sickness. This is the sickness. You see people all the time, even while they're driving, while you're trying to have a serious conversation with them. They can't delay gratification. They're like, oh, I gotta check my likes. Oh, swipe right, swipe left, swipe left. Oh, I gotta get back to the 7 different women I'm messaging at the same time, and it's just this fucking... This is a sickness. This is not anything that has to do with transcendental spirituality. This is the disease of flesh. And when the disease of flesh has matter impress upon it, that's just a sickness interacting with a fucking sickness. You know, when you see people, they can't put down their fucking vape pen. Every fucking 15 seconds, they're just puffing away at that fucking vape pen. That's a sickness. This is Mara. This is why people are a frequency match to this realm. Because they claim in name only, like I used to do in all of my previous videos, fuck samsara. When I die, I'm going to escape the reincarnation soul trap. But yet, all the while, so many of us are hypocrites, and what do? We're shoving junk food down our fucking throats. We're shoving alcohol down our throats. We're shoving cigarettes down our throats. And we are treating this world like a hedonistic whorehouse when it should be treated like it's fucking samsara. If you are still an earth apologist, you have yet to realize that samsara is a meat grinder within a slaughterhouse. And every step you take, you trod upon its killing floor. Once titillation has been terminated, and objects of both a agreeable and disagreeable nature are met with indifference by you, the world becomes unjustified. In fact, if you can find fondness with the falsity that is this fragmented piece of shit fucking world of just dirty chunks of objects everywhere, then it goes to show that you have a worm in your fucking brain that's clouding your judgment. Because Objects are fucking objects. And they exist in samsara. But if you continue to externalize your power and say, ooh, I love this object over here, I hate this object over here, it's a fucking object in samsara. Get out of samsara now. Get out of samsara. Not by killing yourself. You get out of samsara by seeing samsara as the Maya Mara matrix that it is. And then, like Schopenhauer says, once you have reached a state of pure negation towards the will to life, and you're able to exist on a perceptual level where you see objects only according to their definition, where a woman is no longer beautiful or ugly, it's just a woman. An ice cream cone is no longer delicious or disgusting, it's just an ice cream cone. Everything is a motion picture of a facsimile, a sentient figment that is externalized from your imagination. It becomes nothing more than a representation or an idea, as opposed to anything substantial as, quote, matter of fact. When you look upon a rainforest, it is no different than you looking at a painting of a rainforest. It's not good or bad, it's just a rainforest. This is nirvana. Nirvana literally means the extinguished inferno, or a fire that has been put out. What is the fire? Mara. When you are desireless, suffering ceases to be. And therefore, Maya and Mara, they have no influence over you. The Buddha was quoted as saying, I see you, Mara. And he turned his back and he walked away until he was confronted with Mara again, and he smiled and he says, I see you, Mara. And he turned around and he walked away. And then he was able to walk without being interrupted by Mara within his consciousness. And therefore, Maya became no longer agreeable or disagreeable, but just an object according to its definition. And then samsara becomes samsara, not Mother Earth. Materialistic consumerism will never satisfy you. It's never enough. You can't just have a handful of chips. You're going to eat the whole bag. Or you had that alcohol, now you're going to crave nicotine. You had that nicotine, now you're going to crave marijuana. And it just never ends. You all know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have the salt, it'll make you crave the sugar. And if you have the sugar, it'll make you crave the salt. If you have the alcohol, it'll make you crave the nicotine. If you have the nicotine, it'll make you crave the marijuana. And if you have the marijuana, it will make you crave gas station food. And it just goes on and on and on. You're never satisfied. In fact, this world is so fucking malicious that even the things we consider to be the most pleasurable are actually forms of agonizing pain. I can't tell you how many times I have been to a fucking birthday party and I would eat so much pizza and I would think that, oh my God, I'm enjoying it, but it always ends in pain. It's always, ow, my stomach hurts. My lungs hurt. I'm hungover. It's always pain. And then you crave the fucking sensations all over again and you enjoy them a little bit, but then it comes with the satisfaction and the fucking pain. It always ends in pain. We live in a world that's so fucking insidious that even forms of earthly pleasure are just fucking forms of pain. It's all pain at the end of the day. There is no duality between pleasure and pain. They're all just different variations of pain as far as I'm concerned. Here is some Zen Wisdom 101. We must be beyond pleasure and pain. Because once you become truly indifferent, the ironic thing is, you go into a meditative state that is actually quite blissful. Yes, I'm saying that when you reach a state of indifference, you go into a meditative state where you're blissed out. Because you're not getting your happiness or unhappiness from things provided from this world. You're beyond happiness and unhappiness. You are in touch with that primeval joy that is the vibration of your spirit itself. And that is bliss. So you can walk through the bodies piled up in mounds while being in that state if you don't let it affect you. But guess what? I haven't reached that state. You probably haven't reached that state either. But I'm getting there. This is the state I'm aspiring to. And I have been able to experience it intermittently. I know what it's like. Meditation is the foundation. Once you go into states of sensory deprivation where matter becomes temporarily a non-entity and you just go into the dark world of your own sublime nothingness, it changes you. You start to experience a different state of mind where you're a little bit more detached and you're able just to say, yep, that's samsara for you. Yep, that's samsara for you. Instead of, this objective thing over here, I disagree. This objective thing over here, I agree. There is no agreement or disagreement when you're in this state, when you're able to experience what I'm talking about. It's just, I see you, Mara. I see you, Maya. Oh, samsara. Oh, samsara. You are such a fucking shit show for a clown world. A shit show for a clown world. And I love to experience this state of being that extremely lucid. But then I get provoked and the finite bodily being turns back on, and then I lose touch with that sensation, and then I start to take myself too seriously and take the objects around me too seriously. And it's a fucking disease, and it makes me sick. You want to know something? The human body is a ridiculous retard. It says, I'm horny, therefore I fuck. Ha ha! I'm hungry, therefore I eat. Ha! I am angry, therefore I kill you. Or I punch you in the face. Ha! It's so fucking stupid. It belongs to mechanical nature. It has nothing to do with spirit. When I eat samsara food. When I fuck that samsara pussy. And I say, oh, Maya. Mara's got a hold on me now. Oh. Some paranormal investigators claim that earthbound spirits are essentially hungry ghosts that have a sense of unfinished business. So they linger and stalk the persons, places, and things that they much have either extreme regret and they want to make amends, or a longing to return as a means of emotional attachment. So rather than going into the afterlife, there's fetters that are keeping them stuck in this plane because they would rather spectate aspects of the former life that is still operating without their bodily participation just to have viewership thereof. Like window shopping, if you will. And as an analogy, or perhaps to be taken quite literally, I think spirited man incarnated in this plane of existence may essentially be an earthbound spirit who is a hungry ghost who has a sense of unfinished business. And many of us who are aware of the reincarnation soul trap are starting to disenchant ourselves. We're starting to become disillusioned. And the objectivity of this world is becoming falsified because of it. And we're starting to realize that this hedonistic hellscape with its champagne, sushi, and skanks was not worth our participation in the past, is not worth our participation in the present, and still will not be worth our participation in the future. Let alone with an act of our own will, coming back on the same carnival ride to do it all again, just because we love sensory gratification so much. On the contrary, perhaps it is the pleasantries and niceties of our leisure that is most insidious of all. Because if deliciousness upon the tongue is going to encourage another tongue to grow itself so it can continue to taste the same things it has always loved to taste, then maybe you will grow another tongue when the tongue inside of your mouth dies. If you love to hear beautiful music, well, this world has a lot of beautiful music to offer. So when those eardrums go out upon bodily death, maybe you'll want to go into a new body so you can get a set of new eardrums so you can put a nickel in the Nickelodeon and have the jukebox play all the wonderful songs that you love so much. And perhaps if you are an outdoorsman and you become allured by how becoming the luscious greens of nature and the shade that it provides from the sun, well, maybe if you love it so much, upon bodily death, when these eyes stop working, you can go into a new body and get a new set of eyes so you can look at all of the same sights that you love so much. You see where I'm going with this? My appendage that loves to penetrate orifices. I'm sure this isn't my first appendage that has penetrated orifices. And if I love it so much, then maybe upon bodily death, I will say, you know what? Let's grow ourselves another dick. How do we do that? Go into a new body. And you can just eat right on and fuck right on and enjoy the artistic beautification that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has to offer. Now, I'm not saying to completely shun everything to the point where you're miserable all the time. I'm just saying that maybe we should destimulate ourselves. Maybe we should sort of take a deep breath and withdraw and say, you know what? As much as I like ice cream and as much as I appreciate the opposite sex, that's not going to justify coming back to have those experiences again. This is my last ice cream cone. This is my last piece of ass. This is my last rodeo. This isn't our first rodeo, but this is our last fucking rodeo. I don't know about you, but for me, I've had enough. And I've had enough to such a degree that just the mere fact that the whole world, as far as what they find most appreciable, is primarily food and pussy, more so than anything else, really goes to show that that is a pathetic attempt at keeping me here. Never again. This is a closed casket funeral. And when you cremate this body, what you do with the ashes, I care not. What you do with my body in that casket, I care not. Just bury me upside down with my ass exposed so the world can kiss it when I'm gone. You know what? Mark my fucking words. These set of eyes will be my last set of eyes. These set of ears will be my last set of ears, because I've seen enough and I've heard enough. For all I see is mind control and degeneracy. And all I hear is mind control and degeneracy. And all I feel within myself is toxicity brought about by mind control and degeneracy. I have experienced enough mind control and degeneracy. Thank you very much. And no amount of dandelions and roses is going to make me forgive and see past that piece of intestine dangling from the jaws of a predator from its prey. Nothing at all. And you know what else? This voice box right here, it too will be my last. Because the only thing worth speaking is the truth. Yet, I'm just talking to myself. Because no one fucking listens anyway. The only thing worth hearing is the truth. The only thing worth looking at is somebody speaking it. But where do you hear that? Except from the sound of your own voice. Where do you see that? Except maybe in the fucking mirror. Huh? What do I hear? Gangster rap at the gas pump? Christmas carols in the grocery store? The background noise of televisions? And people talking about other people. The carrot on the stick of the weak-hearted is a sense of moral duty to return to Earth as a universal soldier, to be a, quote, empathic light worker, to give aid to human suffering as a humanitarian. Look how terrible this place is. Yeah, come back to this realm, and it relies on you to make a difference.